Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, there is so much construction in North Texas. Everywhere you look, there's a crane. We're going to be talking to the CEO and founder of the United Black Contractors next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, there's an old saying, if you want to see how successful a city is, look for the cranes, not the birds, but the cranes that are putting up buildings. And when I drive through Dallas-Fort Worth and up into Frisco, you see cranes to your right and to your left. But to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity for those very lucrative jobs, I brought into studio Tammy Pierce. She's the CEO and founder of United Black Contractors. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, you have a vibrant organization, and you started it in 2021, which was the height of COVID.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Tell me why you started it.
The disparities. A lot of the things that I saw within the city of Fort Worth and Dallas, I saw the statistics. So all the 3 major cities, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington, did what was called disparity studies to see if the contract awarding was equitable and fair. And so when all 3 cities did the study, they found that African-American contractors were 1%.
Wow, that's shocking.
It is. And so I looked at the job fairs that I was doing and saw how African-American males coming out of prison, some, just needing opportunities, the numbers are extremely high. And I thought to myself, construction can heal that, if given an opportunity. And so that's what motivated me.
All right, we're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll down the website, talk about some of the success stories that you guys have achieved so far. The organization's only 4 years old, but you've made great strides.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, on the website, I got to update that number, but it's $145 million in contracts that I've been able to get awarded to members, and that's due to advocation.
Okay.
Due to working with municipalities, various community stakeholders, elected officials, and just basically highlighting what the problems are. No one has, I'm not going to say no one, but I think most people are afraid to tackle the issues of Black males in this society. Everyone's afraid. They don't want to talk about the homelessness. They don't want to talk about the unemployment. They don't want to talk about the crime, even people that are African American.
Yes. And there's a great need for able-bodied men in construction right now. And you were telling me a story about how you were driving through South Dallas the other day.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I was driving through South Dallas to find a soul food restaurant. And driving through there, it was just pockets of able-bodied, strong men just standing around 12:30, 1 o'clock, not working. Why is that?
Right.
And a lot of the problem is due to having criminal records. As I was sharing that a lot of these men father children before they go to prison. And while they're in prison, the child support does not stop. So when they get out of prison, they're in arrears and their driver's license are suspended. A prison ID is not considered a valid ID in Texas. So on the career of the job fairs I would hear, Miss Pierce, I got to get work. My kids need shoes, school supplies, But I was able to pick up the telephone and call individuals in construction and say, hey, this person has a prison ID. With a prison ID, you have to have a birth certificate and a social security number. card. So it's a valid, that this is who this person is.
Right.
So they would give them an opportunity to work.
Wow, that's got to feel good.
It does. It does.
And you're very active. You have events all over the place. We're going to scroll down the gallery page of the website, and as we slowly scroll down it, why don't you just point out a few of the things that strike you?
That's my friend John Martinez. He's president and CEO of the RHCA. That was our Founders Day, United Black Contractors. Dr. Umar Johnson was our keynote speaker. And secondly, 3 T's Ministries is an organization that mentors young men ages from 8 to 14 in South Dallas. So we did a career day there. That was a fundraiser. That was the city of Fort Worth. City of Fort Worth is engaged United Black Contractors as well, City of Dallas.
Nice.
To help with the disparity. That's our annual golf tournament. Councilman Chris Nettles, Mayor Pro Tem Gina Beavers in Fort Worth. That's our former city manager, T.C. Brotnex, and Eugene Walker with E.J. Smith. We celebrated him Black History Month last year. That's also, you see Commissioner John Wally Price at the event as well. And that is our Christmas concert that we did in December for Angel Tree and raised funds for HBCU. So,
Wow. You guys are very busy.
Yeah.
When you formed this in 2021, was it a hard sell when you went to Black Contractors across Dallas-Fort Worth? Did they appreciate the value instantly, or were you having to convince people?
I had pessimism, but typically what I do when I know that when I'm called to do something, I don't share it with people. I have a very strong spiritual belief system. And before I decided to do this, I spent a lot of time praying and meditating, should I do this? So what God says and what man says is 2 different things. And so I decided to, regardless of what people said, I stood on my faith. And everything has fallen into place. That's how I can tell what I was called to do was right.
Mm. And are you finding it's getting easier and easier? Are you building a name for yourself?
Yes. I think people, it's the fact that I'm a woman, and I'm not in construction. I'm not. So people, I get asked the question, you're a woman in construction. I am. I understand the mathematics behind it. I understand the way a construction project flows, and I understand the impact that construction has with a society. Like you said, cranes is birth. And so you have to have, I've learned in being in local government, I ran for public office a couple of times. And being in local government, I've learned the impact of construction. You have to, every so many years, I don't care if you're in South Lake or Frisco or Stop 6 in Fort Worth, you have to keep so much housing development, so much new construction to keep the neighborhood vital, or the taxes will go down.
Yes.
Businesses follow rooftops. So when you don't have a resurgence of new housing development and new commercial business, you start seeing the social economic of your community to begin to change.
Well, I think one of the gifts that God gave you is you're a great communicator. It seems like you can kind of float between talking to the guy with the hard hat and talking to the mayor.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the gift of conversation?
My high school teacher, Miss Ernestine Rose. Miss Rose was a poetry and prose teacher, and I was very much so a nerd. I was 100 pounds wet, acne, buck teeth, all of that, I tell the joke, my mother dropped me off in the station wagon at the prom. I didn't forget it. So, I was one of the nerdy kids, but she taught me about Langston Hughes, and she taught us, Edgar Allan Poe, Charles Baldwin, and she got me out of my shell. And she says, Tammy, if you stand in front of people and you freeze, that will only happen to you once. She would always say, sink or swim. Wow. Sit up straight. I said, yes, ma'am. And so she taught me the confidence of speaking in front of people. And my 9th grade teacher and my 1st grade teacher as well. I love teachers to this day. I look in the camera, I love teachers, because teachers changed my life. In the 1st grade, I was a sickly child. As I got older, I grew out of the ailments, but I stuttered extremely bad, as much as I talk now.
Wow.
I stuttered so bad that I had a speech impediment. I was 6 years old, and back in the 70s, they really didn't have kindergarten. And so I missed kindergarten. And a couple of teachers told my mother that I had an extreme speech impediment, and I was mildly retarded.
Oh, my.
And it was an old African-American teacher. She said, let me have her. And she took me to her classroom at Joseph J. Rose in South Dallas, and I learned how to write on a blackboard. I didn't know how to hold a pencil.
Wow.
And she taught me how to hold the chalk, and she took me to the chalkboard, and she had me write straight lines for days. And then she had me write a T and then an A. And she said, Tammy, you stutter because your mouth moves faster than your mind. I couldn't say my name. She said, say your name. I was scared. She said, say your name. And she got me to start saying it. She got me, I couldn't say T and P. But it's like, it just, and that taught me empathy and love for people.
Wow.
Because this was one teacher that didn't give up on me. I didn't understand what I was learning as a child, how that would take me through life. But my first grade teacher, and that helped me get out of my speech impediment. And if I may add, by the end of the school year, I was one of her top students.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She said, I don't know, she gave me light and love. And that's why I tell people, I lead with light and love, and I end with light and love. And that's what she showed me. And so it's like the lights came on, and then in the 9th grade, I was just a really shy, nerdy kid, but my first grade teacher helped me with the speech impediment, and my 9th grade teacher helped me speak.
Wow.
You're almost a poet. I love the way you tell stories.
Yeah.
We only have a couple of minutes left, so look into the camera on the left and talk to the person who needs to join and maybe some potential sponsors. Let's have a call to action.
Oh, wow. Well, my call to action is to log on to UnitedBlackContractors.com. It's an organization that is very vital and critical, and we're on the move. Join us in the fight to level an economic plane for black contractors in America. It helps everybody. With getting black contractors gainfully employed, it helps our society. It cuts back on crime. It increases home ownership. It helps the whole society. So help me in the fight and get on UnitedBlackContractors.com and schedule an appointment with me today.
Outstanding. I can see why you're so successful. Tammy, thank you for sharing your journey with us. We're going to end with the website one more time, which is UnitedBlackContractors.com.
Yes, sir.
The great Tammy Pierce. Thanks for
I've
coming.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.